Crimson.
And this is Swan. And we'd love to know what you think of the stories.
Even if it's bad.
So leave us a comment.
Or give us a thumbs up.
Thank you.
It lies in wait amidst your dreams, where nothing is ever how it seems. It is a portal to a terrifying world beyond the doorway to nightmare.
Welcome back to Mini Marathon Doorway to Nightmare.
Oh my.
And during the course of 9 seasons, one of my most favorite authors is Edgar Allan Poe. Mine
too.
And I wanted to do some adaptations of his stories.
Oh my, yes. And you did.
So this is a mini marathon of 4 episodes that we did. Now in season 10, which is coming up, we have yet another adaptation of one of his stories.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm actually excited about it too.
I'm trying to keep quiet there.
But this first one features an actor that is local, actually. We kind of met him. Mark McLean. He is involved
He's fantastic.
in... he was involved in local theater.
Yes.
And he did a couple of episodes for us, and then he got busy with something.
Yeah, life happens.
And then we wrote this particular script called Quoth The Raven.
Oh my.
Now, it's not necessarily based on an Edgar Allan Poe story, but it has that quality of Poe.
Poe feeling.
Yes.
It has the Poe feeling.
And when we wrote it, and I asked her, who do you hear in this part?
Mark.
You immediately said
Mark
McLean. Now,
100%.
we had not heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
So I emailed him, and he was more than happy. And not only did he do it once, he did it twice because the first sound file had gotten corrupted.
Yes.
And he had to redo it.
So he had to redo it.
And
it was insane.
He was great.
But he was fantastic.
So this is Quoth the Raven with Mark McLean, and hope you enjoy it.
Never.
The world of an actor usually revolves around stepping out of oneself and becoming someone else. It is a rather unique talent and is not for everyone. Stripping away your inner self can sometimes be too much for the average person.
Disassemble no more! I meant the deed! Tear up the planks! Here, here! It's the beating of his hideous heart!
Jimmy boy, that was wonderful. I've seen you do this over 100 times. You just get better and better.
Ben, I have insisted you call me James, because that is my name. James Thurgood Marshall. Now, no curtain calls tonight. I'm going to my dressing room.
Another banner night for your one-man play. Not an empty seat in the place.
Yes, all 120 of them. When are you going to schedule that road tour you promised me 6 months ago?
Oh, I got something much better planned for you. You know, when I saw you in that little theater over on Claremont Street, I was amazed.
Yes, I remember you came backstage and offered your services as an agent.
Best thing I ever did.
So, what is this deal that you have alluded to?
Jimmy, Last year, you couldn't get arrested. In another year, you're going to be a household name.
Just tell me what is in that little mind of yours, and do please stop calling me Jimmy.
All right, all right. Do you know who was in the audience tonight?
Abraham Lincoln. I understand John Wilkes Booth was seated behind him.
Cut the jokes. Fred Tarkin, that's who.
Fred Tarkin.
That's right, Fred Tarkin.
Just who the hell is Fred Tarkin?
Oh, only the top programming guy for the #1 television network. Jimmy, he liked your play. He wants to schedule a television special live this Halloween. Now, how's that for being a manager?
Live? Halloween night? My show?
Your show. Imagine it. 20 million viewers, plus the studio audience watching you bring Edgar Allan Poe to life. They did the same thing with Vincent Price years ago. And Fred thinks it's time to do it again.
20 million viewers? Well, is it set in stone?
Well, not set in stone. There is still the negotiations about who pays what, the advertisement, not to mention your salary, rehearsals. None of that you have to worry about, Jimmy. I'm telling you, you're on your way to the top.
Oh, Jimmy, it's wonderful! A live special?
I haven't told you once, Lillian dear. I have told you 1,000 times. Please address me as James.
Listen, sport. I knew you as Jimmy 2 years ago when you were doing bit parts off Broadway plays, so don't get on your high horse with me. I know where the door is, buddy.
Then perhaps you should use it.
What did you say?
I do not believe that I stuttered. My star's on the rise, and perhaps I do not need someone hanging on to it.
Right. Now that's hurtful.
The truth, dear Lillian, is always hurtful. Besides, don't you have your own little play to attend to?
We're in rehearsals now.
At some small theater in Connecticut, I presume? Are the Hoboken players supporting your little venture?
You can stop this right now. The play is good, and after we begin, we're on the road to Broadway.
Oh, I'm sure. Is Stephen still struggling with the ending?
Stephen is a good writer. He just wants the play to be perfect all the way to the end.
Yes, a good writer. When he was writing commercials for radio station WAOR in Hayseed, Kansas.
Look, you little turd. It's not all about you. When did you become so...
As I believe I have pointed out before, you know where the door is. Besides, I need to rehearse. I'm having a problem with the Raven. Are you still here? I'm sure that you know how to use the door.
Oh, you are so right. It's the only thing that you have been right about. You'll learn soon enough.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. No matter. A little rehearsal. I did not particularly like my rendition of The Raven tonight, no matter what Ben says. Now, let me see. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. I told you, dear Lillian, I wanted to be left alone. Poor girl can't take simple instructions. Now that I've told you that, No one here. But I could have sworn. No matter. Can't be at the window. I'm on the 13th floor. Unless someone has scaled the building and is on my balcony. What the devil? Go on, get out of here. Where did you come from anyway? Go! Leave!
Nevermore.
What did you say?
Nevermore.
Must be hearing things.
Edgar Allan Poe was going through a difficult time in his life when he penned The Raven. His wife was ill, he drank heavily, and was struggling to be a writer. Perhaps the Raven in our story is a foreboding omen to James, the actor. I'll return shortly with Act 2. James Marshall, renowned actor, is beginning to rise in the world of the theater. His one-man show of Poe stories and poems is a hit, and is soon to be, thanks to his agent, a television special.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm here.
I know it's late.
Late?
It's only 2.
In the morning? Hell, kid, that's early for me. I mean, just because I was in my bed with a rather attractive blonde I met last night doesn't mean that I can't jump up and come over here because, why did you call me?
Don't you see it?
See what?
That thing upon the top of the bookcase.
So get a maid. They can dust.
No, that huge black raven.
Jimmy, I've never known you to imbibe, but don't you think you ought to stop?
I haven't touched a drop of alcohol tonight.
I heard of pink elephants, but ravens?
I was rehearsing when the damn thing flew in.
Oh, you were rehearsing. Let me guess, the raven. And suddenly this black bird flew up, opened your window, came in and said, wait, don't tell me. Nevermore.
Well, I opened the window, but yes, it did.
Jimmy, take a pill, lay down, get some sleep. I'm going home.
But you can't leave. What am I going to do with that creature?
Call animal control. Maybe they'll be able to see your raven.
All right, Jimmy. I'm here. Against my better judgment, since you threw me out of your life last week. What is the big emergency?
You mean you can't see it?
See what? How big your ego's gotten?
Up there! On the bookcase!
What do you think that you do see?
That rather large, black raven sitting there, staring at us with its devil eyes.
You don't have to do that dramatic thing with me. How much have you had to drink tonight?
I haven't had anything for over a week. The night that winged monster came in.
Oh, Jimmy! You really are losing it. There's absolutely nothing there.
Winged monster from hell. It spoke to me that first night. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I tell you that there is a raven up on that bookcase.
Fine. There is a raven. So what do you want me to do about it?
Thank God I didn't have to perform this past week. Ben made all the arrangements so that I could concentrate on the television special. But that beast is distracting me.
The only one who is distracting you is you! Call me if you really need me. Although, I don't think you need anyone.
Foul creature! What demon has sent you to me? When are you going to disappear from my abode?
Nevermore.
You are simply a figment of my imagination. I shall will you away. Like so! You go gone!
Nevermore.
I said be gone!
Nevermore.
You wretched beast! Get out of here! Go away! I'm not some drunken writer trying to scratch out a living. I'm a theatrical star. Get out of my life before I...
Jimmy,
What? Oh, Ben. I didn't hear you come in.
how long have you been like this?
Ben, you must believe me. Surely you heard that raven talk to me.
It's okay, Jimmy. I believe you. You've been in that little theater for so long that you grew comfortable. Now we are talking about a major change. It's just nerves.
I'm telling you, it isn't nerves.
Jimmy, do you trust me?
Implicitly.
Then come with me to your future. You see, this is your future. I'm rather proud of myself for the deal I got you. In 1 week, we signed the contracts. I got you a 6-figure paycheck, and the studio has already made the sets.
Impressive. Very impressive.
See, over here, the set for the pit and the pendulum. They even have a real working pendulum. Don't worry. It's made of cardboard, but look at the realism.
Yes, I see.
And then the next set, the cask of Amontillado. You see the wall where you start placing the bricks to wall up Fortunato? They are made of styrofoam that fit rather nicely.
Quite realistic.
Over here, the library set for the Raven. Look up there, a fully animatronic Raven. It even says nevermore.
I have one in my apartment.
And finally, the empty bedroom, where you've deposited the remains of the old man with the vulture eye in the telltale heart. Do you understand what I'm telling you, Jimmy? A lot of money's gone into this thing. I'm counting on you.
I don't intend letting you down.
You already have, kid. You're cracking up. Maybe you just aren't ready for success.
But I am. I'm ready.
No, you're talking to invisible birds. You've been holed up in your apartment for over a week. You've missed 6 performances already.
No, I was off this entire week.
Only in your mind. Do you know how much money I've had to refund to people because the star of the one-man show did not show up?
I had no idea.
I'm canceling the special. I'm gonna get you some help.
Canceling? No, this is my opportunity. You can't take it away.
I just did, kid.
You wretched old fool. You won't take this away from me.
Jimmy, just cool it. Do you know who you're talking to?
Yes, a decrepit old man who has forgotten his place.
Don't give me that look. You look like you're going crazy. Hey, Jimmy, stop coming at me. Have you gone insane?
Oh, I could just kill you.
Stay back. Don't come any closer.
I'll kill you.
Stop it, Jimmy. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
That's because I'm choking you, Ben. I'm killing you. You won't stand in my way. I will have the 6-figure income and you will be going 6 feet under. Die, Ben, die. No, boss. I'll just break your neck to make sure. Now, to hide the body. What better place than the set of the Telltale Heart? You shall be a star, Ben. The body of the man with the vulture eye.
Actors are a different breed of human being. They have been known to let success overwhelm them. But to drive someone to murder? I'll be back shortly with Act 3. The world of the stage is unlike any place that you have ever been. The magic of being transported to a different time or place is quite intoxicating. For the performers who are a part of such a world, it can also be quite intimidating.
Hi, hello, James.
Well, at least you have learned to use my name.
I simply came to wish you good luck tonight.
Never wish an actor good luck, dear Lillian. That is almost assuredly wishing him a horrible performance.
Well then, break a leg.
Thank you. Besides, luck has nothing to do with it. I shall shine like the star that I am.
Where's Ben? I thought he would be here by now.
I haven't seen or heard from him since last night. Do you think that something is wrong?
I hope not. Ben saw one of my rehearsals. He's agreed to represent me as well.
You could not have a better agent. And my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted.
Nevermore.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now a performance of one of Poe's greatest horror stories, The Telltale Heart. No, you fools, not yet. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Our sound effects engineer is so excited to get to the sweet meat of the story that he's a little ahead of himself.
James, knock it off! What are you doing?
Please, could we please have silence on the set? What idiot have you hired for sound effects? Can we please cut the beating heart?
James, there isn't anything playing. There's no sound on besides you.
Don't you hear that? The beating heart's not supposed to start until I begin to go mad. Cut the sound. Cut it.
James, there's nothing playing.
Nevermore.
We've done that part already. What sort of people are running this program?
Nevermore.
James, what are you doing?
The heart! The beating heart! Stop it! Stop it!
James!
Villains, I admit to the deed! Tear up the planks! Here and here, do you see? You see, it is the beating of his hideous heart!
What have you done? Thank you, George, for bringing me home.
Oh, it was my pleasure. If it's one thing I cannot stand, it's funerals.
Ben was a great man.
It taught me everything I know. Now, Lillian, I hate to bring it up, but, well, I've been working on some contracts for you. I'm working very hard to make you a star.
I appreciate that. But if you don't mind, I'd rather wait until tomorrow to discuss business.
Oh, sure. I'll let myself out. You know, with Jimmy gone, you're the next in line to be the top star. Now don't look so surprised. You call me if you need anything.
A star? Oh, poor depraved Jimmy. You just could not handle success. Amazing what a little hallucinogenic mushroom can do in a salad. And oh, did he love his salads. A little here, a little there. And you start seeing ravens. Maybe that bird wanted a little bite of your expensive lettuce. Of course, I never dreamed that you would kill poor Ben. Oh well, the price one pays for fame and fortune. What is that? Something at the window? Oh my. A raven. An honest-to-God raven?
Nevermore.
No!
Nevermore.
No!
watches as the raven lands and settles on her bookcase, its black eyes staring as if seeing something dark deep within her soul. I'll return shortly. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. Our cast included Mark McLean, Dave Arkhipov, Crimson McKenzie, and Winslow Swan. The entire production was under the direction of Winslow Swan, and our story was edited by Crimson McKenzie. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Happy, darling?
Oh, David, it's the most beautiful house that I've ever seen. Yes, I am very happy. And the view from the cliff, it is like the end of the world, and beyond is only ocean.
Oh, which is why I built the house here, right on the cliffs.
Oh, I couldn't be happier.
Just promise me something.
Anything, my love.
Promise me that you won't come to Horizon Point alone.
I don't understand.
Just promise me. I don't ever want to lose you.
This is your host, inviting you to return with us through the doorway to nightmare for another adventure into the world of your terrifying imagination. Until next time, slumber peacefully. Epilogue. The butler did it.
Welcome back to our Edgar Allan Poe mini marathon.
Yes.
Please be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a comment.
Oh yeah, and you can
Please.
ring that little bell thing.
Yep.
I just found out that will make it pop up
That
on your
helps
feed.
us.
Yeah.
That really actually helps us. This second story is called The Feeder. It was, I based it off of an Edgar Allan Poe story called Cask of Amontillado, which is an awesome story. But
100%.
but I went a little bit further.
Oh yes, it's a little different.
Oh, definitely different.
It's worth taking a peek.
Yes. So please take a peek.
Take a peek. Take a listen.
It lies in wait amidst your dreams, where nothing is ever how it seems. It is a portal to a terrifying world beyond the doorway to nightmare. Permit me to introduce Victor Clemens, a rather average-looking man who had the good fortune of marrying a very beautiful woman. Unfortunately, he suffers from an affliction that can sometimes be fatal, the disease of jealousy.
I had no business being with Isabella. I was not handsome by any means. I was comfortable, not well off, but comfortable nevertheless. I would often ask her while we were dating what it was about me that she would consider taking me as a husband.
Oh, Victor, why does any woman want a man? I fell in love with you. There is no rhyme or reason. I just know that you captured my heart. Can't you simply live with that?
And so we were married. And it was a happy marriage. However, I found myself brooding more and more. I questioned everywhere that she went. I wanted to know who she saw, what she was doing at all times.
Victor, jealousy does not become you.
Do you deny it?
I have nothing to deny. If you cannot see that I love you, and only you, then we have nothing more to discuss.
No, but I could not let it go. I began to follow her around, watching her constantly. I slept little, and I began to lose weight due to lack of eating. And then I began to drink. All of the time.
Victor, why must you drink so much?
Because it makes me feel better. Feel better.
You mean feel better? Perhaps you should get some rest.
Rest? Since when do you think that I've had any rest?
Oh, Victor, what's happened to us?
I don't know. I wouldn't blame you if you left me tonight.
I promise to be with you until death do us part. I always keep my promises.
For a few months, we were happy again. I stopped drinking and was beginning to feel like my old self. Until Peter Van Doren came into our life. Excuse me, a soda, please.
A soda? Did I hear that correctly? You ordered a soda at the bar?
And what business is it of yours?
Oh, please, forgive me, I meant no offense. I just find it rather strange that someone would come into a bar just to order a soda.
Oh, well, I stopped drinking some time ago.
Now that is a crime. Never trust a man who doesn't drink. Are you trustworthy, sir?
Well, drinking has nothing to do with it.
Then please let me buy you something.
No, really, I don't...
Hey, Joe, pour this gentleman a glass of wine, or burgundy, perhaps?
I really don't need it.
Oh, come on, it's just a glass of wine. Let me introduce myself. My name is Peter Van Doren. I just so happen to own this establishment.
Victor Clemens.
Well now, Victor, a toast to new friendships.
Well, it is quite good wine.
Only the best for my friends.
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I had a little drink about an hour ago, and it's gone right to my head.
Steady there. Let me knock on the door.
Oh, Victor, not again.
Hello, my beautiful wife. You must forgive me. My friend here has had a little too much wine. Yeah, I was helping him home, right, friend? Now, let me introduce. What was your name again?
Good evening, dear lady. I'm Peter Van Doren.
Isabella Clemens.
Charmed.
Isn't he charming, Isabella? Oh, pardon me. I don't feel so well.
Let's get him to bed. Would you care for something, Mr. Van Doren?
Won't you call me Peter?
All right, Peter. Would you like something?
Has he always been this way?
No. There was a time when we were quite happy.
Well, seeing him and seeing you. How did you ever marry him?
Would you believe me if I told you that I was in love with him?
No.
Believe what you like.
But he's a toad. And a drunken one at that.
I believe that I shall have to ask you to leave.
No, I don't think so.
What are you doing? Take your hands off of me.
You need a real man.
How dare you!
Oh, I dare to do it again.
Oh, Peter.
Oh, Isabella. How could you?
It seems that Mr. Clemens was not as passed out as he appeared, and now he knows that his wife is not the devoted spouse that she appears to be. What goes through a man's mind when his heart is being ripped to shreds? Perhaps the answer lies within Act 2. It has been 6 months since Peter Van Doren began to see the Clemens. There were dinners, the theater, and much drinking. And of course, Isabella was delighted to find such a proper gentleman.
A proper gentleman? No, there was nothing proper about Mr. Van Doren. I had seen them together that very first night. Isabella made excuses for going out, always making sure that I had something to drink before leaving. And I confess I found solace in the bottle until the night that a seed of a plan entered my brain. It coiled its way around my head, and when it fully grew, I laughed at the sheer deviousness of it.
Well, Victor, it's been a long time.
Come in, Peter, come in. Let me get you something.
And where, perchance, is the lovely Mrs. Clemens?
Isabella? Oh, she's visiting her family this weekend. So I thought that, well, it has been such a long time since you and I have had the chance to talk.
You know that you're always welcome down at the pub.
Oh, I know, but I thought perhaps a more private meeting is in order. I'm so happy that you could come out tonight.
Well, my business does keep me quite busy during the daylight hours.
Oh, I'm sure that it does. Now here, try this nice claret.
Very good. You have an excellent cellar.
Oh, you have seen my collection of wine?
Well, not personally. I was told by your lovely wife about your penchant for collecting only the best of wine.
Well, I thank you for that. Here, have another glass.
Oh, I really shouldn't, but if you insist.
Oh, but I do insist.
To your long life.
I have a better chance of that than you do.
Pardon?
Oh, just musing, talking to myself. I tend to do that.
A very good wine. But I feel as if...
Just can't hold your wine? Well, I shall take good care of you.
What is going on?
Oh, so, you're finally awake. I thought I might have overdosed you. Didn't want you to sleep through the whole thing.
Chains? Why am I chained?
Oh, well, I don't want you to get away, do I?
What are you doing, Victor?
Well, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm walling you up?
But why?
You mean you really don't know? I'm murdering you. And you don't know why?
I must know.
What kind of a friend are you, anyway? Makes love to my wife, then doesn't even talk to me.
You have no idea what I could do. I promise you, Victor, you will regret this.
The one thing that I will not regret is watching you take your last breath.
Victor, you seem distant tonight. Is there something wrong?
No, not with me, Isabella. Is there anything wrong with you, my dear?
No. I wonder what has happened to Peter.
Who?
Mr. Van Doren. I wonder why he hasn't come around.
Perhaps he never left.
What do you mean by that, Victor? He never left? And why do you spend so much time in the cellar? You just stare at this wall for hours. I've seen you do it. What could be so interesting about a wall that fascinates you so? A loose brick. Now we can see. Oh my God!
Isabella.
Peter, you're still alive?
Barely. I need something.
I'll get this wall down and let you out.
No. Don't do that. Not yet. I need something now. I barely have any strength left.
What can I do?
Make the hole a bit bigger, so that you can come to me.
Yes, my love.
Now make sure that you can put them back, so that Victor doesn't notice them.
But why?
Isabella, do you truly love me?
Yes, I truly do.
Then come in further, and kiss me.
Isabella crawls through the small gaping hole that she has made. She removes the chains from Peter as he wraps his arms around her, his open mouth moving closer to her lips and neck. We shall move closer to Act 3 shortly. I cannot think of a greater fear than being buried alive. The torture of trying to claw and escape, each breath possibly being your last. Perhaps Peter had these same thoughts until he saw Isabella.
Isabella was correct. I would spend hours staring at that wall where Peter Van Doren was chained. I wondered how long it would take for him to die. Had it been quick? Perhaps his heart gave out from sheer fright. Or had it been a slow and painful suffocation? I laughed at the thought of his demise. But then I saw it. It was almost hidden from view. One of the bricks was loose. Had Peter somehow found a way to survive? Not without help. That was for sure. What were you doing in the cellar?
Was I in the cellar?
Yes, my dear, you were.
I hadn't noticed.
Is there something down there that fascinates you? Perhaps something about the wall?
No, I don't think so.
Well, you have been going down there every night for the past 3 days. You really should get outside. You're growing very pale. I sincerely hope that you are not sick.
No, I don't feel sick.
Well, that's good. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Isabella, what are you doing?
It's 10 o'clock. I must go down.
But why? There is nothing, and no one down there.
I must go.
So, my dear loving wife, you must go down there. Perhaps you have found your dead lover and wish to be with him. Even in death, you have to be near him. Well, I can fix it so that you will always be near him. Permanently. Isabella, are you down here? I have a surprise for you.
I'm over here, Vincent.
What are you doing? Oh, I see. You've torn down the wall. My, Peter looks very well for a dead man.
Who says that I'm dead?
What? No, that's impossible. Unless... Oh, yes, of course. My wife must have been feeding you, keeping you alive.
In a manner of speaking, she was helping me feed. You see, it wasn't food that I needed, Vincent, but blood. Human blood.
What are you talking about?
He didn't want to take me before. He fell in love with me, and I with him. He wanted me to make the choice. You, dear husband, made the choice for both of us.
I don't understand.
I told you that you would come to regret your actions. A vampire can survive for quite some time, but without blood, he's doomed. Isabella saved me. Now, she needs something to sustain herself.
No.
Come to me, Vincent.
Come to me, my dear husband.
No.
Come to me.
Isabella smiles, her fangs extended. Peter smiles as she buries her teeth into Victor's neck, his blood flowing into her open, hungry mouth. I shall return shortly. Isabella and Peter feasted on the blood of Victor before sealing him up inside the wall. As far as I know, no one has ever found him. And remember the old legend? Those who feel the vampire's bite cannot come out into the light. I wonder how Victor is faring in the cellar. He must be very hungry. Our cast included Brenna Faith, Ezra J.D. Emmons, and Winslow Swan. The entire production was under the direction of Winslow Swan, and the story was edited by Crimson McKenzie. And now, a preview of our next tale.
I swear that I saw something over there in the corner. Did you see it?
Elizabeth, it's only a shadow. Nothing more or less. The moonlight simply shining on that old bookcase and making a rather weird shadow on the wall.
No, Jason. I saw something moving in there. And I think it saw me.
Oh, maybe it was a spider, or perhaps a mouse.
No, the shape was larger than that. And when it looked at me, I felt sick inside, like it was something evil.
This is your host, inviting you to return with us through the doorway to nightmare for another adventure into the world of your terrifying imagination. Until next time, slumber peacefully. Epilogue. The butler did it.
Welcome again. Welcome again back to Edgar Allan Poe mini marathon. We are going into the third episode, which is a direct adaptation of an actual Poe story, The Black Cat.
Oh my.
I had not planned on doing the voice of this guy.
No. This one was supposed to be done by someone else.
Yes, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I wound up doing it, and it took a lot out of me.
Swan did a really, really good job, but yeah, I saw him after this, and it was not good.
It wasn't a pretty sight.
No, it was hard.
This is a very hard character for me to do. This is about as hard as doing The Nightmare Maker, which if you want to go, that's our season 6, last episode, season 6. She wrote it, directed it, and I was completely off character with it. This was not.
We were both.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing something I'm not used to. You were doing something you weren't used to. I had to yell at you a lot, and
yes.
And then I had to restrain myself a lot,
Yes.
and it was hard.
Yeah, that was a very
It was
difficult.
The Nightmare Maker.
Yeah, but check that one out. In the meantime, please check out The Black Cat.
Oh my.
The doorway to nightmare. Come in. Welcome. I'm your host, Artemis Black. I am sure that you have heard the old saying about cat people and dog people, or that a person does not own a cat, but that they own you. Animals can be a wonderful addition to any household, until things start to go awry.
No, there was nothing in my childhood that could have foretold of the events that I am about to relate to you. I was always a sweet and gentle child. I was kind to everyone and helped out when I could. Mostly, I liked animals, all kinds of animals. I married quite young and found that my wife also shared my interest. And very soon we had quite a collection. We had some birds and fish and a scruffy little dog and a cat, a beautiful cat. I'll never forget the day that my wife brought it home. Hello, my dear. Hello. Well, you're home early.
Oh, look what I just brought home, Charles.
Oh, look at it. A beauty, isn't it?
Oh my,
yes,
it seems to have taken to you. But then all animals seem to.
Where did you find it?
Some mean old dogs were chasing it. Poor little thing. I managed to get him before the dogs did.
Oh, such a beauty. Here, are you hungry? Yeah, how about some milk? Yeah, there you go.
And such a small thing.
Well, he certainly is hungry. Yes. Is that good? Hey, well, what's your name?
I don't suppose he has one. He's so young. I don't think that anyone owns him.
Well, then, we have to give him a name.
You mean we can keep him?
Keep him? What are you talking about? Of course we can keep him. He has no home. We can't turn him out into the streets, can we?
Oh, Charles, I was hoping that you would let him stay.
But he must have a name. Yes. Now let's see. Look how dark he is. As dark as the night sky. Oh, I know. He's as black as the devil. Let's call him Pluto. Yes, we will call you Pluto. Pluto grew up to be quite a remarkable cat. Of all the animals in our home, he was my favorite. A constant companion to me, even to the point of trying to follow me out into the street. But as the years went by, there was a change in me, a radical change that I am now ashamed to admit. Yes, I began to drink heavily, and my temper was shortened. As drinking became more and more necessary, I became more moody and irritable.
Charles? Charles, where are you going?
I don't have to tell you where I'm going.
Charles, please. Why do you have to go out every night to the bar?
Do you really want to know? Because it's the only way that I can get away from your nagging. Nag, 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 all day long. There. You see? You could learn something from Pluto. He had never asked me where I'm going. Do you, Pluto? Yes, you never ask. Come here.
Charles! Don't pick him up like that. You're hurting him.
I'm not hurting him. I'm not hurting you, am I, Pluto?
Charles, just be careful.
I'm just petting him the way he... Ow! Did you see that? Did you see? He bit me. He deliberately bit me. Oh, you beast, you monster. I'll get you. I'll teach you.
Charles, no. Don't.
Yes, I hate to admit it, but my anger with the poor beast overwhelmed me. I caught him and held him fast, and pulling out my knife, I proceeded to cut out one of his eyes. After I had slept off the night's drinking, reason had returned to me by the next morning. Oh, I experienced half horror and half remorse for the crime of which I had committed. But that did not stop the drinking. In the meantime, Pluto recovered from his injury. The socket was indeed a ghastly sight, but he appeared to be in no pain. Oh, he would run from me, and this filled my heart with grief and remorse. That soon led to irritation, and one night, in a drunken madness, I slipped a noose around the poor creature's neck and hung it in the tree in the garden. I knew that it had loved me for no reason. This seemed to infuriate me. In my drunken stupor, I went to bed fully dressed.
Charles!
Wow,
Charles!
wow.
Wake up!
What's the matter? Let me sleep.
Charles! There's so much smoke!
What?
Something must be on fire!
Oh, good Lord, Lucy! It's our house! Our house is on fire! Come on, quickly! Quickly, darling, or we will be burned alive! Come, this way! No, leave! Quickly, this way! I can get you through the flames! Here is the door! Come on!
Charles! Our house!
At least we are alive. I went by the ruins the next day and noticed a small crowd of people staring at something.
Will you look at that? A cat. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
But look, it looks as if it's hanging by its neck.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Don't you see it? That one wall. The only one left standing.
No.
Like a cat.
It can't be.
Hanging by the neck.
No! You know who it is? I'll tell you who it is. It's Pluto! He's come back to haunt me! Leave me alone! Leave me! Leave me.
Well, get some water, somebody. This man has fainted.
It is said that our actions, no matter how small, may have consequences. Charles would say that the fire was the consequence of the murder of his cat. Why don't you hang around until I return with Act 2? In the time of the pharaohs, cats were highly regarded, almost godlike, to the point of even being mummified and entombed.
You must understand that I am only relaying the facts. A simple chain of ordinary events that led up to, well, what will happen to me tomorrow.
Don't you think that you've had enough?
Just give me another one.
Yes, sir. How are things since the fire?
Yes, the fire.
I understand that you lost everything.
Yes, everything. You should see the place I live in now. It's disgusting.
What about that cat you were always talking about?
Oh, yeah. Pluto. No, he's gone as well. You know, I really miss him sometimes. He was such a wonderful cat, and he loved me so much.
Well, if you're broken up about him, why don't you get another cat?
Why don't you get me another drink?
No, sir. It's almost time to close up.
I said give me another drink.
I'll have to go get another bottle.
Why don't I get another cat, he said. Well, why don't I get another cat? Well, there's nothing that says I can't get another one. Hey, where did you come from? I've been staring at that table for 5 minutes and didn't see you. Come here. Yes, pretty kitty. Yes, come here and sit on my lap. There's a good cat. You know, you look a lot like Pluto. Only you have a small ashen patch on your chest.
Here you are, sir.
Say, who owns this cat?
Cat? Oh, I didn't see it. Big one, too. I don't know who owns it. Matter of fact, I don't even know how it got in here.
Well, yes, but does anyone own it?
As far as I'm concerned, you own it. My wife hates cats.
Silly woman.
Well, if you want it, it's yours.
Yeah. Yes, I want it. Yes, I want it very much.
Charles, this is such a wonderful cat. Just since last week, it's made itself so much at home. You would have thought that it lived here always.
Yes, I've noticed that.
And it reminds me so much of Pluto.
Yes, but this one has a patch of white on its chest. Don't forget that.
Yes, dear, that's right. But I can't help wondering, whatever became of Pluto? He disappeared the day of the fire, and...
I know he disappeared. Well, maybe he knew that the house was going to burn down.
See how it loves you? It's rubbing up against your leg just the way Pluto did.
Pluto! Stop talking about Pluto!
Darling, I didn't mean anything.
No, I'm sorry. All this talk about how that cat resembles Pluto, it just makes me nervous. Actually, there's hardly any resemblance at all, except that they are both black, and this one has a white patch on its...
Oh, the poor thing.
Why, what is it?
It has a wound just under its eye.
Where? I don't see...
See? Under the fur. I never noticed it before.
Neither did I.
It looks almost like a knife wound that goes all around his eye. Almost the way Pluto...
No, go on, say it. Say it. Just the way Pluto did when I cut out his eye.
Oh no, Charles, that's not what I meant. Maybe it got into a fight with another cat. It's just curious that we never noticed it before.
Yes, you have no idea how curious it is. Now get that cat away from me.
Charles, you're frightening it.
Here.
You look crazed.
Get that
How can you be that way to a poor animal?
Me.
Especially one that loves you so.
Now, I don't want to see it. Do you hear me? Get it out of here.
To hear you talk, anyone would think that you didn't even like the poor cat.
Like it? I can't stand the sight of it. I loathe it. I hate it. I tell you, I hate it. I hate it. And the more that I hated it, the more affectionate that it became toward me. It followed me everywhere that I went. Whenever I sat down, it would pounce and cover me with its caresses. If this were not enough, the white patch on its chest had begun to take shape. It was becoming very distinguishable as the unmistakable shape of a hangman's noose, that instrument of pain, torture, and death.
Charles, are you going out again tonight?
Yes, I'm going out, and I don't know when I'll be back.
Before you go, do you think that you could help me bring up some wood from the cellar?
Why do you need more wood?
The house is very cold, and you know that I've been sick. I can't carry the wood by myself. Please, Charles.
Oh, all right, come on. You could have asked me earlier.
Oh, Charles, look out!
Oh, you beast, you monster! You tried to kill me!
Oh, no, Charles, I'm sure that it didn't mean...
I'll fix you.
What are you doing with that stick?
I'll show you, you wretched little...
Please, don't!
Let go of my arm.
No, Charles, please, don't!
Let go of my arm.
Charles, don't do it!
Are you going to let go of my arm? Let go of my arm!
No!
I told you. I told you to let go.
There have been many reasons given for the act of murder, whether it be revenge, for love, or in this case, purely by accident. It is what happens after the crime has been committed that makes things more interesting. I'll be back shortly with Act 3. A series of incidents in the life of Charles has led up to the murder of his wife Lucy. Incidents, when taken apart, seem to be ordinary, but increasingly violent in nature.
Lucy lay at my feet where she had fallen. She never made a sound when the stick hit her. I saw her still face and opened eyes, and resigned myself to the task of concealing the corpse. I found some loose bricks in the masonry near the fireplace. When I had made a large enough hole, I put her body inside. Then, with the skill of a bricklayer, I walled her up. No one would ever know. Naturally, questions were asked about her. The police even came and searched the house twice, but found nothing. The most important thing was that the black cat was gone. For 3 days, never a mew heard. I slept peacefully, even with murder on my conscience. I slept so sound. Yes. Just a minute. I'm coming. Oh, Sergeant. To what do I owe the pleasure of your company again?
This is Officer Joe Andrews. He's helping me with the case. Sorry to bother you again, but there still has been no trace of your wife. Some of her friends have been down to the police station, and, well...
You want to search the house again, is that it?
If you don't mind.
Well, I do mind. You've already searched it twice. She's not here. I would like to know where she is as well.
This will be the last time, I assure you.
Fine. Where do you want to start?
I guess the cellar is a good place to start. Come on, Joe. Well, there's nothing down here. Guess we can start upstairs.
You know, Sergeant, this is a very well-built house.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I don't think that there has been a better built house than this one. Well, you're not leaving, are you, gentlemen? Why, look at this wall. So finely crafted that it will probably last 100 years.
Hey, do you mind if we...
Well, here, let me show you. I can take this stick and beat on it all day long, and there will not be a...
What in the name of God was that?
I don't know. Maybe it was the wind.
That wasn't the wind. Whatever it was, it's behind that wall. Joe, take this crowbar. I want you to knock that wall down. Good Lord. That's what we've been looking for, all right. His wife's body. But what is that thing sitting on her head? Wait. It's a cat. How did that get in there?
I know how it got in there. Look, you see? It's been feeding off of her body. I must have walled it up with Lucy. I never even noticed. Look at its red eyes, its blood-stained mouth. Oh, you beast! You horrible monster! You are the devil! You made me a murderer! For 3 days you've been in there waiting and waiting to send me to the death chamber. I hope you're satisfied. I hope that you are satisfied.
Charles collapses to the floor as he is handcuffed. As he looks up at the black cat, he notices that it seems to smile at him. I'll return shortly. One of Edgar Allan Poe's darkest tales, The Black Cat, was first published in 1843 in the Saturday Evening Post. I find it interesting that Poe actually owned a black cat and was also known to imbibe, sometimes quite heavily. Our cast included Winslow Swan, Crimson McKenzie, Mick Davis, Rue Snow, William Stafford, and Jonathan Rossignol. The story was edited by Crimson McKenzie, and the entire production was under the direction of Winslow Swan. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Are you absolutely sure that you are home, Fred?
Oh, I swear. I haven't left the house. I promise.
Okay, so if you are home, what is that dark shape in the corner?
Dorothy, are you okay?
Fred, I think the Carsons have a very serious problem.
Doorway to Nightmare has been brought to you in part by Swanage Press. This is your host, inviting you to return with us through the Doorway to Nightmare for another adventure into the world of your terrifying imagination. Until next time, slumber peacefully. Epilogue. The butler did it.
That one was bad. That one was so bad.
It was
so
grueling,
bad for you.
a very grueling part
I
for me to
remember
play.
seeing you after that.
Yeah,
It was not good.
No, but moving right along.
I mean, you did a good job.
Well, thank you.
Okay, moving
Well,
along.
so did you. Our next, our final episode of Poe Stories is one that I'd been wanting to do for a long time. And I did a lot of research, watching other videos and listening to other radio plays that had done it, and noticed there was really not a true adaptation. There was always added characters that were never in the story. So I wrote this one. It's The Fall of the House of Usher. Nick Davis, who came to us in the third season, did an awesome job as Roderick Usher.
As usual.
As usual.
But as Roderick, oh my.
He was
he was
phenomenal.
Wonderful, as
and,
usual. I don't mean to downplay him.
Yeah, no.
It's just that Mick Davis is always awesome.
Yeah. And I believe he has a channel on YouTube as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know it, though.
But I'm not sure what it is.
Mick
Davis.
That's his name.
Yeah. And if
Just
you look
saying.
in the description, I'm sure the channel will be listed on the description. So. But please enjoy The Fall of the House of Usher.
The doorway to nightmare. Come in. Welcome. I'm your host, Artemis Black. I must warn you that what lies ahead is a tale so gruesome that when it ends, you will know beyond doubt the true meaning of the word revulsion. Are you Prepared for this? Then come with us to the library, where Edgar is seeing his long-lost friend, Roderick Usher, for the first time in many years.
Edgar! My dear friend, it's been way too long.
It's good to see you, Roderick. And yes, it's been much too long.
But we shall not linger over lost time. Let us drink to our health. I'm so glad that you were able to come. Things will be so much better.
Roderick, you sent me a letter begging me to come.
Begging? No, my friend.
And you mention a sickness. Your pallor is horrid. When was the last time that you were outside?
Not since Father died, over 20 years ago.
20 years? Well, no wonder you look so...
My affliction is a family trait. My senses have been heightened. I cannot take the feel of coarse fabric against my skin. Light from anything other than a candle causes me great pain. I can only eat the most insipid of foods. Did you know that I heard your footsteps on the bridge over the Tarn?
And music?
Not in the way that you think. I still can play guitar, but only lightly.
Do you still paint?
Occasionally.
Well then, the solution is simple. We shall read and paint, and eventually you'll be running through the fields just as we did as children.
Roderick?
Madeline, what are you doing out of bed? You know the doctor said that you should...
I was dreaming. I cannot stand to dream. They frighten me.
Forgive me, Edgar. I must return Madeline back to her bedroom. Come, Madeline, dear.
Your sister? Is she going to be all right?
The doctor has told her that she will live a very long life, but I know better.
What is wrong with her?
She suffers, Edgar. Suffers perhaps even more than I do. I have seen her lying in bed in a death-like sleep. They call it cataleptical state, in which she appears to be dead. Her body is wasted away over the years, and with her demise, I shall be the last of the Ushers.
Edgar?
Oh, Lady Madeline, what brings you to my room?
I couldn't find Roderick. I must speak with someone.
Well, please, sit down, sit down. Now, what can I do for you?
I have dreams, Edgar. Horrible dreams of death. I don't want to dream anymore.
Oh, please, Lady Madeline, you must not get yourself into a state.
Roderick doesn't understand. Our family curse. Have you not seen the crack in the wall on the front of the house?
Yes, I have. When I arrived. Is it safe to even live here?
It is like a crack on our very souls. And the dreams. The dreams become more monstrous with each night.
Madeline! What are you doing here?
Please, Roderick, I beg of you.
Oh, please forgive me, Roderick. Your sister came to my room and...
No! How could she be here?
What are you talking about?
I saw her only moments ago from the library window, walking through the cemetery.
But she's been here the entire time.
Why don't you look at me, Roderick? Am I that grotesque to gaze upon?
Roderick faces his sister with a look of horror. Is the Lady Madeline so close to death that her very spirit walks among the tombstones of the family cemetery? I'll return shortly with Act 2. Again, I must ask if you wish to go on, for what lies ahead is a terror that I cannot find the words to convey. Even Edgar, while sitting in his room writing an entry in his journal, finds it difficult to describe the horror of meeting Lady Madeline.
She was not a woman at that moment. She was more of a corpse, standing in that awful room. If she were indeed alive, I thought to myself, she should be dead.
Madeline, please.
Edgar, you winced when you touched my hand. Can you feel the coldness of death?
Oh, no,
You need not try to make excuses. Even now, you cannot help but stare at the dark patches on my face, the decay that lives, that thrives on my dying flesh.
I must insist that you not exert yourself.
I wanted to meet your friend, another human being that lives outside this house, this tomb. I wanted, needed. Oh.
Quick, catch her!
I've got her.
Come, help me get her back to her room.
She weighs nothing. I can't feel a pulse, a heartbeat. Is she...
Come this way. Here, put her down here.
Roderick, that's a coffin.
Yes! It is her bed! It is where she rests. And haven't you noticed, she doesn't wear a nightgown, but a...
Oh, dear Lord. A shroud? A funeral shroud!
She has been ready for her burial for almost a year now. Come, Edgar, let's get back to the library.
No, wait. There is something. I can't quite place it. Something about her face.
Then you do see it.
Family resemblance is quite strong.
Of course it is, Edgar. The Lady Madeline is my twin.
Had I known what was to lay ahead of me, my horror would have been increased 1,000-fold. I should have fled that desolate house right then and there, but instead found myself at breakfast with my friend the next morning. I believe that I should go up and bring something to Madeline.
No. Perhaps later in the day.
My God, Roderick, your sister is dying up there.
Don't you think I know that? But the stench, the smell will sicken you, nauseate you to a point where you will not be able to stand it.
What are you talking about?
The stench of death and decay.
For days I tried to lift the spirit of my friend, while all the time thinking of Lady Madeline. I would read to him, listen to his silly lyrics of songs that he would make up. We painted, although not outside as I had wished. It seemed to me that his countenance was improving as we sat in the library one evening.
What do you think of this painting, Edgar?
Quite extraordinary. When did you do this?
Oh, about 6 months ago. I still do not think that the eyes are correct.
Perhaps a little more green within the pupils?
Edgar, I cannot thank you enough for staying with me so long.
Why, I told you, Roderick. I'm here for you. Always.
It is my own fault that we lost contact with each other after you went away to school. I should have been more of an attentive friend.
Well, we both had our own lives to lead. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe that I shall retire to my room.
Of course. I did not realize how late it was getting. I shall see you at breakfast.
Who's there? Roderick? Madeline?
It's happened, Edgar. It has finally happened.
Oh, what's going on?
The Lady Madeline has succumbed to her illness.
She's dead?
Yes, she is dead. And now, my dear friend, I have but one favor to ask of you.
Oh, anything. You name it.
Will you help me carry her down to a vault within the walls?
Do you not wish to bury her in the family cemetery?
Not just yet.
Terror so awful that it shatters the human mind hangs like a shroud in the air. It drips on the spirit like the very slime on the decaying walls, and Edgar wonders if the madness within is not beginning to invade his mind. I'll be back shortly with Act 3. Roderick, Usher, and his friend Edgar have placed the coffin that contains the body of the Lady Madeline in a vault deep within the walls of the house. They gaze upon her lifeless features before nailing the lid shut.
We loved each other, cherished each other more than two people ever did.
Yes, I understand.
Here, the hammer. Finish it. For God's sake, finish it.
For 7 days and nights, there would be no rest. Roderick's ordinary occupations were long forgotten, and my efforts to bring him back from this melancholia were fruitless. He hurried from room to room without purpose, barely eating anything. What few servants that he had were sent away, and we lived alone in gloomy squalor. He seemed to be listening endlessly to some imaginary sound. No wonder his condition seemed to be affecting me. I felt it creeping upon me. The terrors caused by his inexplicable fantasies. Roderick, should you not go up to bed? You haven't had any sleep for...
No! Time enough later for sleep.
Well, is there anything that I can do for you?
Simply being here is enough.
Then I shall wish you a good night. What? Hello? Roderick? Is that you?
Edgar.
Oh, please, come in.
You haven't seen it?
Seen what?
No, you haven't. But you shall. Yes, you will see it.
Roderick, what are you doing? Close the window.
You see? You see? Clouds everywhere. No moon. No stars can be seen. But look, that strange light. Where does it come from?
Roderick, get away from the window. You're in a state. It is simply some sort of electrical phenomenon, nothing more. Now come. The storm will eventually pass. Here, I have your favorite book. I shall read, and you will listen, and we will pass away this terrible night together. In the morning, you'll see, all will be well.
No, listen. Do you hear it?
It's only a tree branch hitting the side of the house.
Downstairs? In the vault?
Roderick?
I've heard it for many hours, many days and nights, yet I dare not speak. I tell you, she was alive when we locked her in the vault. She was alive.
Oh my God, Roderick. What have you done? What have we done?
We have put her living in the tomb. From the very first, wherever I was, I could hear her first feeble movements inside the coffin. And now tonight you heard it. Even your dull ears could hear it. The beating on the lid, the breaking of the coffin, the screech of the door hinges, the clank of the iron-bound door. And now, she's here.
Roderick.
Her footsteps are on the stairs. I can feel the pounding of her heart.
Roderick.
I tell you, she's there. There! She comes for me. She comes for me. Now she stands outside the door.
Roderick!
Never have I witnessed such horror as I did that night. In the doorframe stood the decaying corpse of Lady Madeline, her shroud covered in blood, her flesh bruised as if from some great struggle.
Roderick.
Madeline! No! Please!
Madeline, in her final death agony, threw herself at her brother, knocking him to the floor, her arms entwined around him. Both of them now dead. The entire house began to shake, as if by some mighty hand. The storm had reached its zenith, and I ran from that chamber of terror and out into the night. My brain reeled as I saw the mighty walls begin to collapse. There was a long, tumultuous shouting sound, like the voice of 1,000 waters. The deep and dank tarn at my feet closed sullenly and silently over the fragments of the House of Usher.
Edgar stands at the gaping hole where once stood a huge mansion. He slowly turns, wondering if he will ever forget the terror of that night. I'll return shortly. When The Fall of the House of Usher was first published in 1839, many people assumed that it was about Poe himself. They observed that the narrator's description of Roderick also applied to the author. Contemporary readers and critics interpreted the story as a somewhat sensationalized account of Poe's supposed madness. Other scholars pointed to the work as an embodiment of Poe's doctrine of art for art's sake, which held that art needs no moral, political, or educational justification. But of course, we leave it to your own interpretations. Our cast included Mick Davis, Crimson McKenzie, and Winslow Swan. The script was edited by Crimson McKenzie and directed by Winslow Swan. And now, a preview of our next tale.
What is that? That
Oh,
little box you brought in.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't the foggiest idea.
Oh, come on. Well, no. Where'd you get it from?
Well, I mean, I got it in the mail yesterday. It says it's from like the podcast distributors.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I really don't have any idea.
Oh my! It just came on. Look at the pretty lights.
Yeah, but it still doesn't tell us what it is.
What kind of story would it be if we can't use knife or gun or murder or or for crying out loud?
Oh,
you risk being completely taken off the platform if you continue to use such...
Beep!
This is Artemis Black, inviting you to return with us to the doorway to nightmare for another adventure into the world of your terrifying imagination. Until next time, slumber peacefully. Epilogue. The butler did it.
Hey, we hope you've enjoyed this mini marathon.
Absolutely.
We hope you'll stick with us through season 10. We're working hard on it, and hopefully we'll be bringing it to you very, very soon.
You're working hard on it.
We'll, of course, have our season 9 marathon.
Of course.
That we always premiere before the new season. So,
yes, sirree, Bob.
Please like, subscribe, share it to all of your friends.
Oh, yeah, and press that bell thing I found out about.
Press the notification bell.
Yeah, the notification bell.
Please leave us...
Because that tells you when...
Right.
When our things come out.
Right. When something new comes up, you'll get notified.
I just found that out.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
And please leave us a comment.
Tell
us, what you think.
Let us know what you want. Even if it's bad.
Even if it's bad.
Even if it's bad.
And thank you for sticking with us. Remember, check our website, doorwaytonightmare.com.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to become a Patreon, buy us a coffee would be nice.
Oh, yes. I love coffee.
Yes. Oh, I love coffee.
You love coffee, too.
I don't need to be drinking it now, but I love coffee.
But you can have some every now and again.
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah.
And then I can buy the creamer and sugar.
Yeah.
Fake sugar, I mean.
Fake sugar.
The fake sugar and all that stuff that goes with it. But if you guys buy us the coffee.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. Yeah. Literally, bless your heart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, babe.
But thank you again for making this dream come to life. Thank you to all the actors and actresses that have been on the show.
Yes.
Even if they're no longer with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
We appreciate every single voice that has been on our channel.
Yes.
Everyone.
Every one of them.
Because you've made us who we are.
Yeah. And it's nice to hear the stories come to life.
Yes, it is. That's the best part about everything.
Yeah. So until we meet again, we'll be lurking for you.
Did you think we were done?
No, of course not.
What do we have now?
Well, between the first and the second season, of which we didn't even know we were going to have a second season, I went and did a reading of Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart.
Boom, 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 boom. Bonus!
So this is The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, and a little bonus for you.
Read by Winslow Swan. Boom, 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 boom.
The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. True! Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in the heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. Object there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. He had never given me insult. For his gold I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold, and so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed, that no light shone out, and then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously, oh, so cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights. Every night, just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work. For it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. And every morning, when the day broke, I went boldly into the chambers and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a hearty tone and inquiring how he has passed the night. So you see, he would have been a very profound old man indeed to suspect that every night, just at 12, I looked in upon him while he slept. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I barely chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was as black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shutters were close fastened through fear of robbers, and so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it on steadily, steadily. I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening, and the old man sprang up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed, listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall. Presently I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief, oh no! It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt, and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise, when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. He had been saying to himself, "It is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor. It is merely a cricket which has made a single chirp." Yes, he had been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain. All in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length a simple, dim ray, like the thread of the spider, shot from out the crevice and fell full upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the sense? Now I say there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet, I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say, louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous, and so I am. Now at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet for some minutes longer I refrained and stood still, but the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. I shrieked once, only once. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and I pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. If you still think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scantlings. I then replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too wary for that. A tub had caught all. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own, in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them here to rest from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. And the officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. Continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained definiteness until at length I found that the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice. Yet the sound increased. And what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key and with violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Oh, why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited to fury by the observations of the men, but the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed. I raved, I swore, I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it upon the boards. But the noise arose over all and continually increased. It grew louder, 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 and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, they heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This, I thought, and this, I think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now, again, hark! Louder, 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 louder! Villains, I shrieked. Dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Tear up the planks. Here, here. It is the beating of his hideous heart.
This is your host, inviting you to return with us through the doorway to nightmare for another adventure into the world of your terrifying imagination. Until next time, slumber peacefully. Epilogue. The butler did it.